Hey, what is up, Debt Free Mafia? Hey, you have debt collectors calling you, or are you worried that they might start calling you, or you're overwhelmed because you don't want to answer your phone because you don't know who that number is and you're pretty sure it's probably a debt collector, and if you're like me, that's uncomfortable and doesn't feel good. Well, in today's video, I wanted to talk over, hey, what you can expect from debt collectors, some things that they might use to try to either scare you or prompt you to pay faster. We want to go over, hey, if you got sued, what should you do? And then on top of that, I want to give you some practical steps going forward on what you should do to work with them on getting the debt paid and getting them out of your hair, never dealing with them again. I've dealt with it before. They're super annoying. They can be super aggressive, and they can try to scare you. They can try to make you feel like an awful person. I'm here to tell you, you're not an awful person. Debt happens. I totally get it. Here at the Debt Free Mafia, we're all about living a debt-free lifestyle. I've been massively in debt myself. If you are about that lifestyle, go ahead and hit subscribe. Love to have you here, be a part of it. Hit the thumbs up if this is helpful content for you. It also helps us, helps the channel, helps us grow because we are starting a movement here again. So thankful for you for being here. But let's go ahead. Let's jump right into it. So let's say that you've started getting calls from debt collectors. Well, I wanted to tell you just a little bit about what you can expect. Most of them are, you can get a wide range of different kinds of debt collectors. I mean, you can have somewhat nice people, you can get aggressive people, and you can also get people who will operate outside of their means or outside of the law. So I wanted to kind of talk a little bit about what laws you have protecting you. If you haven't looked up the Fair Debt Collections Practicing Act, you want to familiarize yourself with that because sometimes these people will go outside of that and try to bully you, and it is illegal. And we're about to get to that. So let's kind of talk about that. Scare tactics. That's one of the most popular things that they're going to use with you. They're going to try to scare you into paying the debt because they have a bounty on your debt. So basically, they don't get paid unless they're getting money, right? So they have incentive, and they will be really pushy a lot of times to get you to pay. You need to know, they cannot mislead you. They cannot mislead you. They cannot tell you that you're going to go to jail. They cannot say that they're automatically going to withdraw it from your paycheck. Only way that can ever happen is if there's a court ruling and you've gone through a lawsuit for it and stuff like that. That can sometimes happen, but they cannot do it without that whole process happening first. They're just going to try to scare you. There's a chance they could tell you have a warrant out for your arrest because you haven't paid your debts. That is a lie. That is not how we work here in America. What I want to do is okay, so if you've dealt with that, if you've dealt with them being very aggressive like that, what should you do? Well, if they are telling you stuff that is misleading, that is illegal. So the first thing I want you to do if they are doing that is I want you to send a cease and desist letter. There's sample ones on the internet that you can download and write out. You just need to write very clearly what they've done, that they violated the Fair Debt Collections Practicing Act. I'm looking at my notes here because I want to make sure that I'm not missing anything. You need to tell them at that point that they got to stop calling you because they broke the law already. So they need to stop calling you. Don't call me at work. Don't call me, period. And then also, it might get to the point where if they continue to call you and contact you after you've already sent the cease and desist letter, you might need to consider getting legal representation for that because again, they don't need to be bullying you. It's a debt. It's not the end of the world. We'll get it paid. It just takes some time, right? So that's kind of what to do in that point. Don't let them mislead you. And we're going to get to here what you should do whenever they call here in just a little bit. But I wanted to talk real quick about for those of you that have been sued over debt collection and you're not sure what to do, the first thing that I recommend to my clients is that you call the court. I want you to call the court in which that lawsuit was issued. I want you to authenticate that it's real. Again, I don't want them doing anything illegal like making up a fake lawsuit to try to get you to pay. I have heard of that happening, so that's why I just want you to be very adamant of just making sure that it's authentic because we live in a very wishy-washy things that happen, on the internet. People use some kind of shady tactics, so I'd love for people just to make sure there. Also, I want you to respond in writing, so write a letter and an email. The more ways you can respond, the better. And I want you to do it in writing, so email and a letter. I want you to write both. Say, hey, I have received this. Now, I want to kind of give you some stuff. If it's maybe you're being wrongfully sued, right? Maybe there's some reasons why you might not have it, and if you do get sued and you are saying like, okay, this is not my debt, or this is the wrong amount, or something like that, in that letter you need to write back to the court and you need to provide your defense on that written letter. The defense can be the amount is wrong, like we said. The other defenses can be the account isn't yours. There's a chance that you're got aligned with a totally different Joe Schmo that has the same last name as you, right? I've heard of that happening, so you just want to make sure that that's actually your debt. Also, here in Texas, this only applies to Texas. I don't know if it applies to other states. Be sure to check your state's debt collection laws because they could differ. But in Texas, if the debt is older than 4 years, you no longer owe it. Or it no longer needs to be in collection, so they can't be bothering you for it anymore. So that could be your defense. And then also the last one is, obviously, if you've already paid the debt, you can write that off and send it in a letter saying, hey, we already paid it. Here's, you could even scan in a picture of the cashier's check or the transfer or whatever. So be sure that you respond to them because you need to acknowledge that you are being sued and go through the process. If you owe the debt and you are being sued, you need to set up a court date essentially with the court, and you need to work out a payment for that debt. Again, it's good to have your finances in order. Once that all happens, that's something I do with my clients whenever they meet with me. We make sure that we're trying to set aside a little bit of money for everything that they owe so that they can pay at least something, and the court will look at that probably a lot more favorably. I don't know for sure. I'm not a legal attorney, so I'm not giving any legal advice. But what I'm saying is, if you've got things organized and you are starting to make payments or attempt to make payments to certain debts, even if it's $15-20 a month, that looks a lot better. But you are going to have to work out a payment usually if the lawsuit goes through. So it's not the end of the world. Please don't stress about it. I know it seems really stressful. I've been in your shoes, believe me. But you will get through it. The goal here is we're not taking on any more debt. We are being smart with our money. We're budgeting smart. We're working extra if we have to work extra. We're doing whatever we can to scratch and claw and sprint with intensity to get out of this debt and to live a debt-free life. Believe me, I'm on the other side of it, and it feels amazing, and you can do it too. Okay, and last thing, if you do go through the court, you can also negotiate what the payment can be. And again, if your finances are kind of in order and you finally have a budget and you are working through what you can actually pay, that will be very helpful in your negotiation. So keep that in mind. That's if you're getting sued. So next thing I want to talk about, okay, so if you haven't been sued, but they are calling you, how the heck do you handle them? Well, my suggestion, and this is going to seem a little bit radical to maybe some of you, is I want you to be in contact with them more than they're in contact with you. Why? Because you're going to set them a little off balance doing that. I want you to be calling them at least twice a week, if not 3 times a week, just giving them an update. The first things you can do is by being proactive like that. I want you to be proactive. Second things are just being open and honest with them. Hey, here's why I'm struggling to make this payment. I lost my job. I've recently gone through a divorce. There's been a tragic death in the family. The medical bills hit us like a freight train. That's happened. It's the number one cause of bankruptcy in America is medical debt. So, there's lots of reasons. Just tell them. They might listen, they might not. However, I want you to just be as authentic as possible. Sell yourself as somebody who does want to pay the debt off because it is your debt. You signed on the dotted line, and we are needing to get it paid. Keep them informed. Just keep up with what's going on. What I do with my clients is when we do sit down and have a budget, whatever money that we have found extra at the end of the month, we allocate to those debts, even if it's, like I said, $15 or $20. We do the debt snowball. I have videos on that. If you don't know what the debt snowball is, it's essentially we pay off our debts from smallest to biggest debts, and we compound the payments together so that we start making bigger payments. Anyways, I say all that to say, if you have a debt payoff plan, you can tell them, hey, this is on my debt payoff plan. All I can afford is this right now. It's number 4 in line. Once we get to number 4, I will be making bigger payments. I promise you. What I tell my clients is tell them, hey, I have hired a financial coach. This financial coach is helping me strategize on how to pay my debt off as fast as possible. I'm working with them. Work with me. I really want to get this paid off. Believe me, we both want to solve this problem. And one thing I will remind you is anytime, a lot of people look at these debt collectors as like, a lot of friction, a lot of conflict and aggression. can steer a lot of people that are introverted or that don't want to put up with it away. Remember, at the end of the day, that both of you are trying to solve the same exact problem, right? You guys want that debt paid, right? They want to get paid. You want to pay the debt off. At the end of the day, you guys, I want when you have a conversation with them, I want it to be kind of structured around, hey, we both want this paid off. Work with me. I'm trying to get it done. Again, I've got a cash flow plan, aka a budget. I've got a debt snowball plan on how I'm gonna pay off my debt effectively, so that you can keep them informed. They're saying, hey, I'm strategizing, I am prioritizing this. I messed up originally, but now I'm not going to mess up anymore. I'm going to get this fixed because I hate debt. If you can relate with that, go ahead and hit thumbs up, because that's definitely me. I absolutely hate debt. That's why I started the Debt-Free Mafia. One thing I will say is, when you are making a plan on what to pay for what debt, make sure it's realistic. Please, please, please don't wish what you could pay on that debt. If it's $20, it's $20. Don't write down $40 if you can't pull off $40 effectively every month, because things are only going to get more south if you say, I can afford $40, and you're not even making your $40 payment every month. That's bad news, so don't do that. I will note that this only works with certain debts. It won't always work with your mortgage. It's pretty much never going to work with your mortgage or your car payment. This will work really well with credit cards and medical debt. However, it does not work well, again, with your mortgage or your car loan. So I have other information on how to handle that kind of stuff on my YouTube channel if you want to go and look at it. Again, if you haven't considered hiring a financial coach, I recommend finding one. They're really great. That's what they do. They help you get out of a sticky situation. They help you not be stressed about your money anymore. That's one thing I love about being a financial coach. I help people get over it. So let's kind of recap that real quick. If they're getting calls, what should you do? You should be in open communication with them. You should tell them everything that is applicable. Hey, I can't pay this because XYZ. I have strategized. I have a budget now. I can only afford this for this right now. You're just going to have to be very adamant about that, because they're going to want more, obviously. I have a debt payoff plan. This is number whatever in my debt payoff plan. I can only afford this until this date. If you have a debt snowball, you should know what date you will start making bigger payments on each debt. And also make sure that this whatever you have budgeted for paying off that debt is within your budget, right? Don't overexert yourself. Let's get it paid off, but let's not put ourselves in a tough situation to do so, right? So guys, I hope that was helpful for you. I know that it stinks, but bear with me. If you got questions, leave them in the comments. Debt collecting is not fun. It's not an enjoyable process, but please hang in there. Get it paid off. You can do it. I believe you can. After you get that debt paid off, keep it up. Keep that emergency fund. Start funding that emergency fund real big so that you don't ever have to go into debt again, right? That's the whole point. And then once we do that, we're going to go forward into building wealth and building a legacy for ourselves, our kids, and our children's children. If you're about that life, go ahead and hit subscribe. I recently polled everybody on my Instagram, and I said, hey, has the content at the Debt-Free Mafia made a positive impact on your finances? And I had a resounding 100% yes. This has made a big impact on my finances and making smarter financial decisions. I'm here for you guys. I want to help you out. So again, if that was helpful, go ahead and hit the thumbs up. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions. I'd love to help. We'll kind of try to walk through some of that with any of you if you have questions. So guys, appreciate you. I'm so thankful for you. Have a great day. Peace.